I was going to make a track-by-track review for this album, but this kind of gave me an opportunity to try out a new format in the form of quickies, mostly because this album was not worth my time to write a track-by-track review for, so I'm just going to get into it. This is by far one of the most boring, if not the most boring rap album I've heard this year. It's not the worst, that still goes to Joyner Lucas, but it is definitely the most boring. Every beat is almost the exact same, and I don't mind if you reuse production elements to repurpose them for different ideas, but that's not the case here. Every track is so bland and basic and flat with its production. The features on this album, which include artists like Young Thug, Future, Travis Scott, Lil Uzi Vert, some of the biggest names of hip-hop right now, are super underwhelming. NAV himself is so uncharismatic and lifeless in his vocals. It doesn't matter if he's doing a verse or a refrain. He sounds the exact same, and it makes it really hard to get into when he's getting personal. Now don't get me wrong, however, 95% of the material on this album is your typical trap rap stuff. Drugs, violence, sex, it's all here. You're going to be hearing it for most of the album anyway. But there are moments where NAV is trying to get personal with his life. Things like his struggle for love, yearning for somebody, the mentality of being a bystander in the hood while horrible things happen, and most prominently referring to himself as Brown Boy and all the success he has had with this label. Maybe the Brown Boy motif is a way of NAV owning the label that was given to him, mostly to spite the people who had jealousy or had hate for him, showing that just because he is brown, that doesn't mean he is not able to succeed in his aspirations. And this idea is given its own track in the form of Brown Boy, which is a song where NAV is rapping from the perspective of a hater of NAV's. It's so weird. It's not good, but it is definitely the most focused NAV track I've ever heard. But this track loses all of its significance and its importance because he is constantly using Brown Boy with such empty purpose on most of this album anyway. Like every song, he refers to himself as Brown Boy, just doing things. Not even special things, just things. Brown Boy does this. Brown Boy does that. What can Brown Boy do? I am happy that NAV is having success in his life and is attempting to own this label due to the fact that most people, especially in the hip-hop community, just refer to him as Brown Boy as the brown rapper anyway. But he is not doing anything to add more to that conversation. It doesn't make him stand out considering how creatively barren this album is, how generic this album is, how life-sucking this album is. It is 18 tracks and 50 minutes long. There is no good material on here. Everything is so boring and basic. I hope that in the future that NAV is able to creatively challenge himself, get himself out of his comfort zone, and venture into something more adventurous. It is probably not going to happen considering he has released 5 projects very similar to this in the last 3 years. But once again, I do applaud NAV for somehow making a name for himself, even though he's mostly known for being a meme on that Yosemite feature. Yeah, I didn't like it. It wasn't for me. I'd give it a...